this is Lee Gardner. Welcome to my latest in my series, Pensions Made Simple. We're going to talk about the investment strategy that you should be taking up with regards to your pension plan. So what happens with the money when it goes into the scheme? I mean, it's absolutely crucial that you get this right. This can make such a big difference on your pension pot at retirement age, you wouldn't believe. So what I'm talking about here is working out the level of risk that you're happy to take and making sure that your pension funds are invested in line with this attitude to risk. Generally, my rule of thumb is the longer you have to your retirement age, the higher the risk you should be taking. The higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. And especially if you're paying regular contributions, as in sort of workplace pensions and if you're paying regular premiums, you've got the advantage then of what's called pound cost averaging. So as the market moves up and down, every time the market goes down, you're effectively buying more shares in the fund. And hopefully, when you come to retirement, the value of those shares is higher at that stage than it was when you purchased. And that really should drive value in your plan. So looking at how you're invested is really important. What I tend to find is most people don't even know how their money has been invested for them. They set up these schemes, they end up in default funds that have been chosen for them in many cases, and then they go for years never being reviewed. Taking control of this and making sure you're invested correctly is absolutely crucial for you to grow your pension fund as good as it can be. And making those right investment choices is really important. As you get closer to retirement and as you get closer to potentially taking benefits, you maybe want to think about dialing the risk down. The good news is within a lot of workplace pensions, a lot of the funds have what's called lifestyling, which does this automatically. It starts to reduce the level of equity within a fund as you get close to retirement. For a huge majority of people, this is a great strategy to take. However, it is reliant on the retirement age that you set up at the start, being the retirement age you intend to stop. So if you want to retire early or retire later, that lifestyling strategy may not work. So as always, taking the opportunity to review what you're doing on an annual basis would be something that I would strongly suggest that you do. I had a case this week where a client was in a group scheme, had accumulated quite a decent sized pension fund, and he hadn't reviewed his funds, well, probably since the start, certainly for at least 5 years. When we took a look at where he was invested, the funds were completely out of line with the level of risk that he was happy to take. So obviously we've got an opportunity to address that, but more importantly, when we looked at the funds that he was in, not only was he not invested in the right type of funds, but the funds were really poorly performing funds. So within the sector that they were in, they were really bad funds in terms of their sector performance. So not only is it important that you're invested in funds that are at the right level of risk, but also make sure that the funds you have, if you've got a choice of funds you can choose, do some basic research and look at the sort of past performance to see how they stack up within their peer group. Now, we all know that famous line, past performance is not a guide to the future, but it does give you an indication of where that fund sits, and it gives you some sort of feedback as to what's going on. So I strongly urge you to take the time to take a look at your funds, review what's going on, and if necessary, make the appropriate steps to make some adjustments. So we've talked about charges, we've talked about getting a handle on those charges and making sure you're not paying too much in charges. Investment performance goes hand in hand with charges in terms of ensuring that you're going to get the best outcome for your pension. So make sure you take a look at what's happening under the bonnet of that pension scheme, where the money's been invested, and is that strategy right for you? So as always, if you do need any help or you have any specific questions on anything we've covered, I'm more than happy to help you. But as always, look after yourself, look after your money, and I'll speak to you soon.